I'll just show you how these onions have germinated in this Garland Super 7 propagator. Very, very happy with it. Starting to get a bit leggy now, so I'm going to be starting potting them on now. Next door to me we've got some capsicums. They've come up okay. Bit hit and mix on the next one. The others don't look too bad at all. And bringing up the end there, 8 out of 8 aubergines, which are totally foul last year, so that's looking good. In the end there I got an empty one, and I'm going to be sowing me long red Florence. I hadn't done them already because I'd run out of seed. I didn't realise, so I've had to order some more. Anyway, let's get back into the greenhouse and start the potting on. And for the potting on, I'm going to be using the Clover multi-purpose peat-based compost. That's the one I actually sowed the seeds in to start with. I haven't bothered sieving this straight out of the bag, but once I've rubbed the lumps out it looks okay, nothing horrendous at all. And just add a bit of vermiculite. As I say, I've got no qualms in using peat-based compost at all. In fact, until I get a suitable peat-free compost, I'll continue to use it. My local farm shop has got loads of supplies of this clover, and it's selling very, very quickly, very fast, so other people are in the same boat as me. With this peat ban, the prohibition of the horticultural peat, it was the private members bill under what they call the 10-minute rule. Now I think it got first put through on the Commons in about, I'm not sure if it was April, but there's been other readings planned which have fell by the wayside, and now the next one planned is July 2025. Now as far as the procedure goes, I think there's 5 steps it has to go through the Commons, then it goes through the House of Lords for another 5 steps, and then it goes for the Royal Seal, which is another 2 steps. So I can't see the peat being abolished very soon, although looking around the garden centres, it seems a lot of the compost companies have committed to going peat free, and whether that's a bad move or not, because like I say, until I get a compost which I find is equal or as good as this, I'm going to be keep using the peat-based compost. If there's any compost companies out there think theirs is as good, please get in touch and I'll try it. Just quickly show you the seedlings, and these are about 12 or 13 days old. As you can see, they've done extremely well. Just bottom meat off that Garland Super 7 propagator, no lights, and the consequence of that, as you can see, them starting to go over them, tilting. These should have been potted on probably 3 or 4 days ago. Nonetheless, I'm going to pot them up into that compost there and using them 7cm pots. What they'll do, they'll go inside, and I will put them on the propagator, and also put a light over the top there just to get them upright and settled it. For the newbie growers of the onions, there will be a little picture coming up at the side. If you want to click that link or follow the description in the notes below, you can actually see from start to finish how I do the onions. So there's the first 15 done of the vento. Look a bit bedraggled at the moment, but I'll give them a bit of a drink from the bottom, get them in the propagator with the lights on. I'm sure they'll soon pick up. Well, I've just popped upstairs. I've got this is the Vitopod 3. I've actually took a leaf out of Rob's book, Rob who grows in the attic. I've set a little lash up temporarily, and I've got the tray there, the first 15. They're in a 15 cell tray, which makes them easier for moving around and that. And just on the end there, as a temporary measure, I've got a tray of water, and I just put them in there to give them a soaking. And so these are in the Vitopod, the third one I've got, the third big one I've got. And then the under a grow light there, this is called the Mars Hydro. Both the light and the Vitopod are on a smart plug, which I can control through the app, put them on the timer, and also switch them on and off the phone. But I've gone one step further and added my little friend in. So I'll just say, Alexa, turn off Mars Hydro. The progress of the seedlings have forced me to get this greenhouse on the move. And first of all, I've got to have a little clear out. But the big job for me is on here, before I can get the 2 big Vitopod propagators in, is to shift out this the chili wicking system. I've already moved one, and the other one is ready to go out now. So all the pots are out the top layers. Trays are usually left with water in, and there's quite a weight in here. So what I actually use is one of these filter siphon pumps. Just tip it up so all the water's down one end. Get it to cut the pumps, it soon sucks it out. That goes into a watering can, and it makes it a lot easier to get out, and more importantly, it stops you getting soaking wet. So there we are, all the decks are cleared now. All I've got to do is give it a good clean up. This is insulated matting that I've put on the benches. I've had them on a couple of years now, and I put these on primarily to stop the heat seeping out of the bottom of the Vitopods into the top of the slats of the benches. So I'll give these a clean, and the other thing I've got to do is the windows. They haven't been done for, well, it's been a year at least. If you notice up here, I've got me power supplies. Those are for the propagators and that. These are on a separate line which goes direct to my fuse board, and it's on the trip switch, so there's a safety there if there's any shortage or anything. You notice on there, these are things here are called smart plugs, which you can control on an app. You can set a timer, or you can switch them off manually on and off through the phone and all. And you notice the gap on these are actually wider than a conventional trailing socket like those. And obviously these have been built so you can fit these modular plugs inside. And I think I got them off Amazon. If I can find the link, I'll put them in the show notes for you. And the icing on the cake, got a little blink camera up there that keeps its eye on the greenhouse for me. It's a security thing, but also when I'm away on holiday, I can keep my eye on the plants. And also there's a temperature sensor in there. You can set it so if it falls below a certain level, it'll actually send you a message to your phone. Right, let's get on with the cleaning. So we're progressing. We've got the bases in for the Vitopods. I do like to pop a bit of capillary matting in the bottom of these, because I find it helps distribute the heat a lot better, and also it adds wicks of moisture up and put the pots on. They seem to look after themselves. But saying that, regarding the heat distribution, these are very, very good. I've never really found any hot spots. Some propagators you can find, you'll actually be able to feel the heat where the wires are going, but these seem to be fairly even. And there's the two thermostat controllers up the top. They have changed these now to a different variety, but I prefer this type. For the new growers joining us, welcome. I'm about to start off growing my shallots. Now you can start these off from seed, but the majority of people, myself included, tend to use what these are called sets, and these are just 1 year old mature onions. And very, very similar to onion, although slightly sweeter in flavour, and say this is the size, or maybe a little bit smaller they grow to. I tend to grow them because I pickle them and turn them into pickled onions, but they're very, very popular with chefs to use in other dishes. As I say, it's very easy to grow, and I like to start mine off in these 15 cell trays. Just put compost in and settle them on the top. I'll just show you. This is just a normal multi-purpose peat-based compost. It's Clover multi-purpose that I'm using on there. I've just spent a minute or two rubbing the lumps out, and that's perfectly good enough to get these going. So there's no need to compact the soil into the cell trays, just enough to fill it like that. Give it a little tap just to settle it, and then we're ready to start planting. You can buy these pre-bagged, but my local garden centre sells these loose, so I'll buy them by the weight, and I think this is a kilogram worth. And all I do is go through, give the bulbs a little squeeze. If there's any loose skins on, just remove them. And I like to trim the top as well. And say, when you're ready to plant, just tidy what this is called the basal plate on the bottom there. Try not to damage that, because that's where all the starting the roots. And all you need to do is just gently put it into the top, sink it down about 10 millimeters. I just give it a little turn like that, and that's all you need to do it. Now you'll see nothing at all for a few weeks, and you'll think, well, what's happening? But hopefully what that's doing is actually putting roots down into the soil, and once it's got a set of roots established, you'll start seeing little green shoots, and that's what we want to see. So you can keep these just, well, above freezing it'll be okay, but you haven't got to give them no heat like you do for seedlings and things like that. They're happy to fend themselves as long as you keep them frost free. So as I say, we'll just continue, fill this tray up and I'll bring you back. Well, that's the first tray of 15 done. I've still got some more on the back. I'll probably get another tray out of that. A popular variety for growers and very, very reliable cropper is one called Golden Gourmet. Although this year I've had a change and I'm going for a new variety on me. This one's called Bistro. As I say, these don't need any bottom heat or anything to get them going, just keep them frost free, and I'll be putting these in the propagator with no heat at all. Just a quick reminder, with the sets and all, look for the flat part on the bottom, the pointy bit on the top, and they go that way into the soil and you'll be okay. Another thing which may give a bit of confusion to new growers is potatoes when it comes to those. Basically there's 3, possibly 4 different types of potatoes. There's a first early, second early, main crop, and you may see also the term second cropping or Christmas potatoes, and that one is exactly as it says, it's harvested at Christmas. But for the growing we do now, you'll have the first early, second early and main crop, and these are available in garden centres, shops and whatever. The thing to do is to choose the variety that you actually want first, then buy them as soon as possible. This is not a video about how I grow my potatoes and that. I've got 2 detailed videos, little links will be up coming up the side and also in the show notes, of how I grow both in the ground and in containers, and that covers from actually picking your tubers down to right the way up to harvesting. But as I say, once you see the varieties, pick the varieties you want. The secret is to buy them as quickly as possible, because otherwise, if you leave it till late, you'll end up with rubbish. Now, with the potato, right at the top of it, there's things called chitting, and that's the term which confuses a lot of people, especially new growers. Chitting, all that it is encouraging the shoots to grow before you actually plant out. Some people say it's needed, some people say it's not. I don't think it's needed, but I actually do it, and the reason is because, as I said, as soon as the varieties I want are available, I actually go and buy them. Unfortunately, my local garden centre does quite a big variety of potatoes, and he sells them in big bags like this, quite a reasonable price. So once I've actually bought the potatoes, then, until it's planting out time, you need to keep these dry, frost free, and give them plenty of light. If you stick them under a bench in the dark, they'll still produce shoots, but they'll be very, very long, spindly things and look like worms coming off. And if you see any in the shops like that, run a mile, don't touch them. So once I've got my potatoes, you can actually see where the chits are. The more chits are, the smaller the potatoes in general. So if you want a slightly bigger potato, rub a few off, it doesn't hurt. And what I do then, using the trusty old tray, in this case it's a 24 cell tray, I just use it where the chits are going to come out. This is called the rose end. Have that sticking uppermost, and just pop your potato in there and keep going along. Put them in a frost-free place and they'll look after themselves. As we get to the middle of February, it's this time now that I start looking at what seeds to plant in earnest. I can't see the point for me personally in planting any earlier, apart from say my onions and stuff that was with the long growing season, because I'm really struggling then to find space to store these things when they actually pot them on and that. So pointless really. Most of the seeds that I grow are from British seed manufacturers, and there is some data on the back of that. Particularly look at the planting depths and that. There is also a planting time, but really use a bit of initiative with that. If it says 4 weeks from March to April, the way I work it, I think of the British Isles as a picture, divide that into 4 sections and working up from the bottom. The first section is week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and so on. And I only use that as a guide. As you come to that guide, also take a look at the weather forecast, because it's pointless reaching that stage where you think I can plant out and the weather forecast says we've got a fortnight of snow coming. So do bear that in mind. Right, many thanks for watching. I hope you'll join me on the next one and see what we get up to on the allotment. Until then, stay safe. Bye for now.